Hi, welcome to the Whitestone Journal. Today we're going to talk about pride. So when we talk about pride and being proud, the first thing that people think of is somebody that thinks more highly of themselves than they should. And certainly that's the way we usually say it in English. They're so proud. They're proud of their accomplishments. They're proud of themselves. They're proud of their looks or whatever. Today I want to look at pride more as where the focus is. And the focus in pride is in ourselves, looking at ourselves, what we think of ourselves, what our judgment is of ourselves. It's very, very self-centered, very much pointed inward. And if what we see inside is good, or if we want to believe it's good, then we consider that to be a good thing, and that's when we get the usual sense of being proud. However, pride makes us look inside, and if what we see inside is not to our satisfaction, it's still pride that's in operation. The focus is still on us, still on judging us, but the judgment is unfavorable. So people that are very self-critical, people that you meet that are very sensitive, constantly, any criticism at all sends them into a tailspin. Those people may not really be proud in the usual sense. They're proud in the sense that they are looking inward and evaluating themselves. And anything that comes in as any kind of a criticism diminishes their own view of themselves, which in many cases is already low. So when we look at pride, we have to look at those two sides. And certainly being proud of ourselves in the traditional sense has been covered a great deal. You can read about it on our webpage. Let's look a little bit more at what happens when we're self-critical and pride takes that form. The ultimate thing here is that we are judging ourselves. We're making a judgment. We are, and often, taking something that is transitory, something that is just happening now, a failure in school, a failure in personal life of some sort, work, a disappointment, a failure to get a promotion, and then making some kind of a judgment of worth based on that. But the problem is that we really can't look at any moment of our life and make a judgment of the whole of our life. We simply don't have that view. And we have two problems with this. One is we're entirely subjective. I mean, we are looking at ourselves and we're looking through all of our own filters, all of our hopes and fears and dreams and everything else about our life. And we're really not equipped to see that and to judge at all. And the second thing is that within time, we're not able to see the entirety. There's a saying called "No man happy while he lives." The idea is that until somebody's finished their entire story, we really can't say anything about the person. Of course, we can't. Only God can. So the problem is that when we look at ourselves and make judgments, pride is in operation there. Now, let's take a moment and talk about vanity. Vanity, and I may cover this on another topic, another time anyway, but vanity is not about what we really are or what we think we are, but rather how we think we appear to other people. Vanity is really the double illusion because on the one hand, it's what others think of us, but it's also what we think others think of us. So it's a double illusion. Vanity is especially dangerous because we in our heads have to cook up what somebody else thinks of us. And that's a very dangerous business. And by the way, let's even go one step further. Other people, for gain or for whatever reason, may not be honest with us about what they think of us. So if they lie about that, we have to interpret that, and then it goes through our own filters. So by the time you get done, in vanity, it's a very, very perilous business because we really don't know what other people think of us. There's all kinds of motivations for people not to be honest. Sometimes we're not as honest. I mean, does this dress make me look fat? Vanity. There's no good answer to that one. So the person that asks it is really setting the other person up for failure. Sorry, that one's kind of a cliche. Okay, so in pride and vanity, yeah, there's the things where the person really thinks that they look great, a person that really makes a big deal about their own looks, about how smart they appear to others, how accomplished they appear, probably really doesn't think that much of themselves, and they're really having a hard time. They're having to inflate it for their own benefit. So having to deal with this, it's funny because I just had a meeting not that long ago, and the person was telling me all their degrees and all their accomplishments and how brilliant they are. And really, as the conversation went on, it was clear they were insecure. They had been passed over for a promotion they thought they should have had. Somebody else got it, and now they're hurt and trying to, make up for that and feel better about themselves. And it's a mixture of pride and vanity. They said things they probably shouldn't have said to me, but it was very revealing. So it's something to think about. Now, how do we know if we have that problem? Defensiveness. If I'm really, really defensive, somebody says, well, you didn't do a very good job on that project over there. It didn't come in on time, blah, blah, blah. And I go, well, there's this reason over here and there's this reason over here. Even if those reasons are true, if my first instinct is to defend, then I probably have a problem with pride and or vanity. Sensitivity, being overly sensitive to criticism, overly sensitive to things that happen that in some way or another might say something about me, about my competence, about my intelligence, about whether I'm a nice person, any of those things. If I'm really that sensitive, then there's a good chance that I'm really have a problem with pride and or vanity. So how do we get out of this? First thing is to look at pride and look at that judging of ourselves as being wrong. St. Paul says, I don't even judge myself. Let God be the judge, and he's not doing any judging right now. That comes at some later time at the end of our life, and when we get there, fine. In the meantime, we can look at whether our actions are effective, efficient, whether what we're doing makes sense, if it tends to make other people happy, if it makes us happy, is it productive? Look at things in a more objective way and not so much about every action or every happening saying something about my worth or what kind of a person I am. Yes, in a sense it does. But back off from that. Look at events and behaviors and mistakes that we make and everything else a little more objectively. Step back a little bit and refuse to judge yourself for it. When we judge ourselves for it, that's really pride acting in us. Know the silliness of worrying about what other people think or how our appearance is. It's far better to live true, live real. And then just if people want to make judgments, they make judgments. Their judgments really aren't worth a lot. It makes a difference for jobs and everything else. But even then, we can be a little bit philosophical about it. If not faking it makes me lose a job or lose a promotion, maybe it wasn't worth having. I mean, if I really have to be fake to get it, either there's something wrong with me that, maybe I'm not competent enough. I have to fake competency. I don't know. But maybe there's something wrong with the job. Maybe the person making the decision works on illusions and doesn't really work on what's real. Well, that might be a blessing not to have that then. Just because I create this site or these videos and do a lot of writing and everything else certainly does not mean that I'm better than anybody else or have overcome all these vices, nor have I in any way perfected any of the virtues. Just to be very, very clear, and I'm not saying that to be falsely humble, I just think it's important to see the difference between somebody that's very, very good that talks on these subjects and somebody that is not very good, who has learned by bitter experience and a lot of trial and error, mostly error, something maybe about some of the stuff I'm talking about here. But being very, very clear, there's no warranty express or implied that I am a decent person. So let's just, if it helps you, that's a good thing. But take it on its own merits. Don't take my example as being necessarily the best one. If I hadn't messed up a lot, I probably wouldn't be creating these videos. Thank you.